True crime, a terrible sight by request. World of YouTube, I was requested to talk of this story of jonbenet Ramsey. And this is the most, I want to say, well, not the most, but one of the most disturbing, poorly investigated case I've ever seen. One of them. I can't say, the one. But it would be up in the top 10 if I had to put anything poorly on an investigation. And I have no doubt in my mind of what I've done my own analysis on this case. That, who I believe the killer is. No doubt in my mind. I don't care what anybody says on this case. Because there are things, once again, that has happened in my life that I've experienced that would lead to some insight to this case on what I'm going to put forth. And it's amazing sometimes to me, and it just blows my mind when I do, come up with a case, and then all of a sudden there's something slightly identical to the case. Something slightly that could have maybe thoughts, theories, ideas happen. And I'm sure everybody knows the case. Like I say, when I first heard this case, and I gotta find the TV show that recently, the most recent one. Now, once again, when I first saw that show, I wasn't heavily in detail to true crime yet. Meaning that, I was trying to get other things up for YouTube videos. And yeah, just pretty much getting myself prepared for stuff like this. But when I heard the case and I went over the case and I saw the most recent show, oh, there's no doubt in my mind who I think is the killer. Like I just said, is the killer. And it is insane. Because, for one, the person of interest, POI, as they call it, that I have in mind, has a jealous, I'm making this up out of my own head, dominate jealous disorder. Meaning there's only one that can get the attention of this. And that person would be saying, that's me. Dominant jealous disorder. And not only that, I got another one I like to call, due to the fact, experience, lived it, seen it, would be called firstborn obsessed disorder. That's right. 2 disorders I made up on my own. You will not find this in any child psychology book, psychiatrical doctor or psychiatrist. My meaning. And I'll tell you, 2 of the people that I know, that I literally knew, that have these 2 disorders, makes my stomach sick. And this is what exactly brings me to this case. This case, oof. So going on to say that, as you can see, I got the picture up of JonBenet Ramsey. Very, very adorable little girl. Which, when I first saw her, the first person that came to my mind was Shirley Temple. That's right, the lollipop kid. Good ship lollipop, woo, type ordeal thing. Adorable girl, just dancing, singing, and, just cute to death the world, and nothing more. And I think this girl's, JonBenet Ramsey, was on her way, I think, to be the next Shirley Temple. In some ways, not identical, of course. But that's what I got when I first saw this kid's picture. Especially the one they show of her in the cowboy hat. And why does this lead me to believe of the two disorders that I have just made up? Well, first off, with the jealous, it's easy. Hard to keep these in your mind when I just made them up. I mean, don't get me wrong, I've had it in my head, in the back of my head, for a long time about this and what I've witnessed. Trying to keep the name on it, God damn it. The jealous firstborn disorder. But first off, I got to start with the other one. And that's the, jealousy of a child, so say, right? Coming along, God damn it. The dominant jealous disorder, which I think this person suffered severely of. And why, do you ask? Because a dominant jealous disorder on a child like this, on a child that comes into the world, on a child that is, adorable and gets all the attention. That's where the dominant jealous disorder comes in. And I know personally someone who went through this jealous dominant disorder. Hopefully one day maybe they'll put this in a book. Maybe they'll put this in the psychiatrist book. And from what, I don't want to reveal no names, blah, 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 but it's just a mother-daughter scenario. And that's where this jealous dominant disorder comes in. Either way you can look at it, dominant jealous disorder or vice versa. So, when a mother, which I have to hold you in suspense some more. Mind you, because of this person I'm going to speak of, and due to another mother that had the not the dominant jealous disorder, but still had that firstborn jealous disorder. In ways, it works out almost the same. And it made me write a story, short story. It's up on shortandscarystories.com. And literally I almost got my friggin' story in a book they made. But it came in third place. I have it up online if anybody wants to check it out. And I forgot the damn name of the story. But once again, you got to be held in suspense for this. I got to pause for a moment. Even though when the video starts back up, it ain't like I pause at all. But all to be back. So, as I was saying, the story I wrote, damn it, I forget the friggin' title of it. Oh, that's what it is. Murder at the Chateau. If anybody want to look that up, what I wrote. And that had similar to do with this person that I know personally what they had done wrong with them by their mother. And my beliefs of this disorder I call, with a mother and a daughter getting all that attention of the spotlight of once what they thought they had. And even though JonBenet Ramsey, her brother, said that they never got beat, they never got nothing, this and that, which, you know damn well, that could have been a lie. Because for what I get out of this story, man, I think everybody had a part somehow. And I don't care what anybody says. This was a sick situation, and that jealous disorder literally built up and exploded. That's what this was. And that's what I think. Honestly. And the person that I know that had this mother problem would get beat, smacked around. Hell, once even had a glass smashed off her head. Surprisingly, this person did not get killed, but I think would have if this person at the time didn't step up and do what they did, which was fight back. But of course we know JonBenet Ramsey, would have never been able to fight back. I mean, don't get me wrong, she probably did kick, scream, and fight. But that being said, and how this case is ludicrous, there's going to be something also in this case that I'm going to bring up that I thought of, which was never mentioned in this case. Someone else might have thought of it, but I can reassure you, I did not look this up on anybody's other stuff. I did look up something that came up on Reddit, and it was someone asking the same question. And I honestly think, due to the severity of this case, and they had DNA, but because the DNA matched other people, multiple people supposedly, a male, but then it goes on to say in this article on Wikipedia that there were like 6 people that could have matched this, that were supposedly within the JonBenet Ramsey home throughout the rope and the clothes or whatever. You know, it just is poor investigation. And shame on the police department getting a call about a missing child with a ransom note. Mind you. And not looking at this and not cutting off access to that house. And the show that I watched, and hopefully I can find it, detailed that this dumb mother invited friends over and they all contaminated the damn crime scene. Idiots for the police letting this happen. And what really baffles my mind, and I just thought of this today, and it's not in the article. It says nothing about it. Here we have a ransom note, 2 pages long. And the mother and father, or whoever the F wrote it, as they were trying to prosecute with that person, it all got dismissed. Can't use it. But it made me think, if I'm a juror on this case, and not even one juror mentioned, what kind of killer writes a ransom note and leaves the body and the note? Don't get no money. Who's the effing idiot that would write a friggin' note? Leave it. Kill the kid. Unless they were trying to get the kid out secretly, but couldn't because the kid was screaming, fighting, kicking. They tried to muzzle her, but she was scared to death, trying to fight for her life, and they just gave up and said, hell with it. Hell with the ransom. And killed her right there and left. But no forced entry. And not only that, the ransom was for the amount that the father had a year before of a work bonus. Boy, if that don't ding, shine off a light bulb on someone's head, then you just gotta be as dumb as the fucking murderer who did this themselves. In this case, they're just as stupid to even consider or believe, right? That this guy or murderer or whoever the hell it was wanted the amount of, they knew the amount, whether or not they knew the family, the Ramsey parents, and they knew he got a bonus because maybe he's the type of guy that's a moron and likes to brag about his wealth. Which I don't think that's ever been mentioned either. Because if you remember in the, I'm going to say it wrong, the Osaka murders of the, the rich husband and wife that were murdered, decapitated on the case, the Lake murders. And they were people that didn't brag about their wealth. But someone murdered them, but didn't even rob them. They didn't even say these people here, the Ramseys, were the type if they either bragged or didn't brag about their wealth. Which, the way the case goes, and how they had their daughter, that only goes to show to me that they did brag. And, of course, that being known, and how popular they were, supposedly because of their daughters, getting them the fortune and fame that they could have been getting, or they were just starting to get something out of this ordeal, right? They were bragging about it. And then the list goes on with this case. And what really also baffles my mind, that you got a courteous killer that doesn't do a forced entry, that kills a girl, leaves her in the basement, and happens to lock the door behind him. Well, let me latch this door. I'm gonna be courteous. Anybody in their right goddamn mind that don't have a regular routine of latching the door, maybe because they had a pet, or they didn't want the kids in there, or whatever the damn, or they didn't want a cold draft coming out through that. Whatever the case may be, I could have swore to God that I remember on the last TV show that I seen of this case that they had a basement window. And correct me if I'm wrong, in that basement window, the way it was broke from the inside, not the out. So that means there was glass that not only fell inside, but was outside. And at that, there was no friggin' footprints leading anywhere near the window. What the F? This is just like, well, no, I can't even use that because I think that killer, I gotta go over a whole nother kid. There was another killer that killed people back in the 1940s, a farmer out in Russia or something. They found footprints going into the farm, but never out. And they determined, though, that this killer lived there, did the daily chores there, ate there. I mean, it ain't got nothing to do with this. But right, there was no footprints going out. Meaning after he did what he did, killed, he might have backtracked his footprints out of the murder scene. Meaning what came in, he walked out of. Right, backwards. Sick fuck. But where there's no footprints leading in or out of this case, and I'm for damn sure that what was said in the, I'm thinking of it, I hope I'm not getting it confused with another case, but that's right. That was mentioned in this case. So, I mean, the trail of evidence. Leading, now as we know, as I'm going with, to the parents, leads to the son, who they say slept through the night, didn't hear a goddamn thing. Which, I mean, yeah, it could be, maybe, because of the simple fact he's upstairs, the murder took place in the basement. I'm sure this house is huge enough where, yeah, you probably wouldn't even hear a damn scream or yell. And if this kid was a heavy sleeper, or even if he wasn't, I'm sure, right, he didn't hear nothing. But where in this last show I watched, supposedly, and his fingerprints on the bowl of pineapples that were given to jonbenet Ramsey. You know, honestly, I feel sorry for this girl having a name jonbenet. I don't know why they just didn't name her Benet. Because jonbenet, I'm sure she got picked on as a kid, or would have got even picked on older. But, yeah, I think the brother, I want to say, was at the point where the mother tweaked, told him to go to his room. And that is now where it leads me to where I call the firstborn jealous syndrome. That's right. That's right. Why would a murderer that wants ransom not take both kids but just one? Another thing that's not mentioned throughout the Wikipedia article. Don't get me wrong, I'm sure there's people that have commented out there, but like I said, I am very new to the case. I mean, I'm not new, but doing my thoughts and theories is what I'm new on, and ideas. And like I said, I like starting at the beginning. And the beginning to me is Wikipedia. Because they only come out with the average statements. Nothing more of anybody else coming out with anything. Nothing. Just what they get from the case, period, in the beginning. But I have to pause one more time. I will be back. And there will be more videos on this. So, as I was saying, as for the brother being involved. And whatever occurred that night at the kitchen table with the pineapples, which I think, yeah, the brother maybe have put that pineapple bowl down. Whatever I think the mother did that night, and whatever made her finally snap, will only be now settled into the grave. And I mean, just for the simple fact that I've, had the experience, like I said, of having to know somebody with the older sibling jealous syndrome. It makes it even more sick to the world what could have really happened that night. As if, say so, JonBenet Ramsey maybe didn't like what she was given, took a bite of it, and just made a big fuss. And that's another thing. I bet you 10 to 1 something that JonBenet Ramsey was doing at the time was probably leaning up to a good irritation of having this older siblings jealousy syndrome just finally explode. And for the fact that kid was probably told to be sent to his room, don't need to be seen or said or heard or whatever, and the mother just probably going on. Come on. As I was saying, I goddamn keep getting interrupted. I think all in all, this mother of JonBenet Ramsey had some control issues, jealousy issues, and hell, even got her husband, I would say so, to, agree with her sickness. And I believe that these two parents just did not give two rats' ass about their second born child. And the husband say so, letting this happen and letting this become the wife's dominance. Therefore, jealousy, dominance towards JonBenet. And I think that's exactly what it is, the dominance syndrome towards a girl. Leads, like I say, to my story I wrote, and I forgot to mention it. In my story, as I was saying before, which is it's Murder at the Chateau. And in this story, due to the fact that the person that I know had a mother that had a dominance, jealousy over their daughter, inspired me to write that story. It's up on YouTube if you want to punch in Terrible Sight, Murder at the Chateau. All right? And me writing that story in similarities to what this person went through. And I could say that this story also was in the back of my mind when I wrote this story. And that's what made me, and is making me, go with this scenario that the mother has killed her daughter. It was the mother who did this due to that jealousy syndrome that I speak of. And I mean, And just because JonBenet was probably getting, like any ordinary 6-year-old would be, maybe a little, off the defiant side. Nothing major, nothing serious, just maybe enough to break the silence of what really went on in her mother's mind. And, and that is what exactly happened with the person that I know with her mother. Something snapped because she was getting all the attention. And I'll say this, the grandmother of the mother that I know of that did what she did to her daughter when the daughter was born got more attention than the mother. But the mother, believe me, it's rightful to say that the mother was from an early age a POS. And she brought this daughter in the world to suffer pain, misery, mental abuse, right? And that's what I think was happening to JonBenet Ramsey. Because she started to get popular. And when you get a kid, man, and they're, brought into the world of what this girl was doing, say so just like Shirley Temple, or hell, even you can even mention Judy Garland. Young, girl, has, good looks, potential type thing. I don't like saying stuff like that because people with their sick minds these days, but, you got a good looking kid like this and they grow up to be, getting all that attention, all that stardom. And then all of a sudden, people around them start snapping. And there have been some kid stars, believe me, if you look up, right, that literally start fortune and fame and the parents turn, snap, that's it. It's out of this world of how many people out there do this. And I think this was way too much for the mother of this poor child to handle. And that being said, like I say, knowing from first-hand experience, and like I say, not only that, the other syndrome I speak of, firstborn jealousy syndrome. If a murderer is going to kill and they're going to get ransom, or kidnap, sorry, and they're going to get ransom, they're going to take both kids, not just one. And at that, who the F leaves them in the house? Who leaves them in the house? And leaves a ransom note and expect money. That only, like I say, goes to show how dumb this killer was, how stupid this killer was, just as stupid as the person that wrote the ransom note and left it. Oh, geez. I don't need the money. I just wrote a note. And in the sick way, just wrote the note, and left it and just killed her. Hell, I don't even think a friggin' serial killer would waste their time writing a full 2-page ransom note. It's unbelievable. And what I have next to show in my next video about something that has to do with the blood stains in the underwear of this kid. I have looked up something that was not looked up in this case. I don't know if anybody else has done this. But this was done out of my mind, my thoughts, theories, ideas. This has nothing to do with anybody else's stuff, material, nothing. I did this on my own. And like I say, you will look into my videos and you will see I have not done this case yet. And I've been meaning to do it. But I've been meaning to put the story together, and it just wailed through my head just last night when I just went through this whole article again. I had to go back over it, and not only that, I have to look up that damn last show that was on TV about this case and about the cellar window and about the lock in the basement. And how about the footprints that didn't lead to the window and not left the window, but yet, you get it? I need to see that article, show again. Hopefully it's up. I can find it. If anybody else wants to look into it. I mean, I don't remember the name of it, of course. I screwed up. I don't even took a picture. Because when this came out, I'll tell you, it was way before I started getting really into the criminal world or murder world as it is, right? As I am now. And due to the fact that I've been throwing out these thoughts, theories, ideas, that's it. I've been coming across a lot of things, and of course people noticing a lot of things that I come up with, and maybe someone has not came up with this yet, but in my next video, like I say, this is going to be a true game changer in this case. And I think that the person that did this, which I think is the mother all day, I think she maybe had enough brains to come up to think of or even look into this. Because I'll tell you, the woman's dead now. There's still no friggin' caught of a murderer. Because you ain't gonna catch a murderer that's already been buried and gone for a long time. And how did the DNA not get matched up to either of the parents but a male? And how did they do that? I have a very good idea of how it might have been done. And if it ain't, it ain't. Whatever. If someone already looked it up and looked into this, whatever. But these are my thoughts, theories, ideas, and this just came up within 24 hours of me looking right into this case again. So led me to believe and to come up with new ideas on the case. So I should have a couple more videos on this. Until the next video, be safe, take care, always beware. You never know what's gonna happen. Hell, you don't even know if a damn family member's on the way trying to catch you doing something, huh? Jesus Christ. Plotting up. Hopefully everybody out there with a family member that you don't feel very gut-worthy suspicious of, Hey, hopefully they're not planning something. Beware. Out.